Beautiful sunny evening here in Leszno, and here is the first race of the night. Captain Cook for Great Britain off the inside in white. Patrick Dudek, joint World Championship leader, gate 2 in blue. Andreas Jonsson for Sweden off gate 3 in red. And the teenage sensation Gleb Chuganov for Russia going off the outside gate. 20,000 packed into the stadium. Kelvin Tatum, World Cup winner back in 1989, alongside me in the commentary box. Bit of pressure on Poland, 20,000 fans expecting gold.
They are indeed. That's the minimum they require. And there's a certain amount of pressure with that when you're a red-hot favourite. But they're a young, dynamic team with a lot of experience now in the Grand Prix series. And quite often they raise themselves. Marek Cieślak will demand excellence from the Polish team. But this week has been very difficult to predict. I'm sure we're going to have some twists and turns tonight.
Here we go, heat number 1 of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup Final. Great start from Dudek off gate number 2. The Poles are off to a flyer. Cook holds second for Great Britain right now. Third in red here is Andreas Jonsson for Sweden, and the youngster Chuganov is at the back for Russia. Now an opportunity for the Swedish rider to charge up the inside. Jonsson has passed Cook. The lead then is with Patrick Dudek of Poland. Second place Andreas Jonsson, and third in white is Craig Cook for Great Britain.
Dudek razor sharp out of gate 2, flew to the first corner and is comfortable out in front. Cook settled in second place early doors, but then just drifted off the inside in turns 3 and 4 in the opening lap. And Andreas Jonsson, with a lot of World Championship experience, pounced, and the Swedes came through in his second place. Chuganov from Russia is out the back, but he's closing. But Dudek, the World Championship joint leader, looking majestic in front.
Here he goes. We've seen him in the Grand Prix series in the opening 5 rounds, carve it up in his debut Grand Prix campaign. And listen to this crowd. The dude, Patrick Dudek, checkered flag for Poland. They're off to the flyer they wanted. He is going to take some stopping tonight around here. Jonsson battling through for second ahead of Cook. It is a winning start for the Poles. From start to finish, Patrick Dudek had that race under control, and I would suggest that that is ominous for the opposition tonight, because Patrick Dudek is in wonderful form. He's beaten Jonsson, who had to pass Craig Cook of Great Britain, and Chuganov at the back. So it's a winning start for Poland, and Dudek leading by example in the opening race.
Absolutely, he was really sharp away from the tapes. The bike dug in and drove really hard from gate 2, clamps the opposition on the inside, and they don't really see which way he goes. This early stage, we've got Craig Cook from Britain. He is there in second place, but he drifts a little wide down in turns 3 and 4 on the opening lap, and that allowed Andreas Jonsson to come through into second place, and Cook will be frustrated about that. Dudek again around that first corner. He's in a class of his own here. Andreas Jonsson now coming through up the inside of Cook as they complete the first lap. And the Swede then hangs on to second place. Cook third, Chuganov out the back. But the exciting style of Dudek, very, very impressive. And I agree with you, an ominous signs for the opposition. Dudek is riding out of his skin this year.
Yes, and a sign of the strength in depth for Poland. Maciej Janowski was dropped from the final last year in Manchester. This year, he is the captain of the side, Kelvin, and he's out here in blue in heat number 2 for Poland.
But he was captain last year, was dropped as captain. It was a big move by Cieślak. Fancied that he just wasn't in good enough form. He went out, and they managed to win in Manchester, and they really have been dominant in this competition.
We have, and here's your lineup. Maciej Janowski off the inside in blue for Poland. Linus Sundström for Sweden off gate 2 in red. Emil Sayfutdinov a maximum last night in the race-off for Russia. Gate 3 yellow. And young Robert Lambert for Great Britain. They could have put him as the under-21 rider at reserve, but they decided to put Lambert straight into the starting lineup. It worked a treat at Kings Lynn a week or so ago at the Adrian Flux Arena. British boys watching on now. This is heat number 2. Which way will this one go? And that's a good start from the Swede. That's Linus Sundström. Superb start for him. Second place is Janowski. And now Sayfutdinov trying the outside run with Lambert at the back right now. But it's a great ride from Linus Sundström so far. Didn't see this one coming. Maciej Janowski is holding second place. Emil Sayfutdinov will give it absolutely everything. Lambert on the pace, but can't land a blow.
Brilliant start from Linus Sundström. Could be a little bit of a surprise here on the cards with Maciej Janowski really pushing hard. Sayfutdinov is right there. Robert Lambert from the outside found that really tough. But Linus Sundström's riding nicely here. It is so tight. Sundström down the back straight. Maciej Janowski coming on hard in second place. Sayfutdinov really ready to bounce. Just over a lap to go in heat number 2. Sundström for the Swedes riding supremely well now.
Yep, it's all about the inside run at the moment. Oh, and Sundström almost loses it. Here comes Janowski. Maciej Janowski takes him wide, and Maciej Janowski is going to come through for the win with Sayfutdinov homing in on him as well. Well, Sundström just one little slip, and it cost you. Wow, the Polish fans can't believe it. They were set for second spot. It looks as though the inside run was the one to stick to because there's not enough drive around the outside in the early stages. Let's see the run to the line. Watch out for Janowski on the outside, and here comes Emil as well for Russia, but Janowski has got it. It's 2 wins from 2.
What a ride. What a ride from Janowski. Linus Sundström really had that pretty much under control, but just on the last lap there, just felt the presence of Janowski, who steamed up the inside, forced him wide, and Sayfutdinov went through for second as well. What a heat number 2.
Very much so, and the latest scores then after 2 heats here now. It is Poland 6, Sweden 3, Russia 2, Great Britain 1. That is the latest here after 2 races of the final. One slip from Sundström and it cost him, Kel.
Yeah, he made such a good start as well. Gate 2 has been quite clearly the best gate in the first 2 races. Dudek made a great start from there in heat 1, and Sundström made a super start from there. And they were all hanging around behind him. They were really working the inside. Sayfutdinov particularly giving Janowski all sorts of trouble. But there you see Sayfutdinov trying to make that move, but Janowski slams the door shut. And Linus Sundström, if he could have just held on there, he would have been able to win the race. But look at that move. Janowski just half a yard, and he squeezed through late on in the race, stole the race win away from Sundström. And Sundström, just to pour salt in the wound, Sayfutdinov followed the Polish man through. Super speedway on the last lap there, that's for sure.
Yep, heat number 3 coming up. This intimidating atmosphere for the rivals here, with the Polish fans backing their side with great passion. Freddie Lindgren off the inside in red for Sweden here, the skipper. Stevie Worrell, his debut World Cup campaign. Welcome to the Lions' Den. Bartosz Marslik, gate 3 in blue for Poland. Vadim Tarasenko for Russia off the outside gate. What is going through the mind of Stevie Worrell right now, Kel?
Well, he's nervous, Nige. He needs to, but he would have seen that he's got gate 2 and it's made the start from there in the first 2 races. He needs to take confidence from that.
Here we go. No. Straight through the tapes.
Oh, that's nerves. 100% nerves. And quite clearly not accustomed to this type of occasion. And young Steve Worrell, who has come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of seasons, it has to be said, but just showed some inexperience at this level right there.
Yep, he did indeed. Oh dear. I wonder, they've been fairly relaxed over the last couple of days, the Great Britain side. We've seen plenty of them, Kel, but I just got the feeling when they arrived at this stadium, when the turnstiles opened and the place started filling up, reality struck. They were looking around. Wow. Well, here we are, and it was almost as though reality hit them.
Yeah, you know, when you're not accustomed to riding at this level with such a partisan crowd, and the Poles have started so strongly in the first 2 races, but clearly Steve Worrell was very nervous there, and I feel for him, but these are the experiences you have to go through if you're going to be able to race and compete at this level. And you're right, I did just sense in the faces of the Great Britain team that it was beginning to hit them that this was a big occasion. Let's hope he can recover and come up with some decent rides later on, but not the ideal thing to happen for Team GB.
No. Disappointment for Stevie Worrell. He really has come on in leaps and bounds. It's been great to see him progress. I worked with him very closely in 2014 at Cradley Heath, and it was an absolute pleasure to deal with. And to see him progress from there up the speedway ladder into the World Cup final is something that he should be very proud of.
Yes.
But disappointing that he starts here by going into the tapes.
Nowhere to hide.
Disappointment. Yeah.
Nowhere to hide out there, Nigel. You're completely exposed. All the movements, all the choices you make, the decisions you make. you cannot hide, and that was one that quite clearly he was nervous and was just desperate to get away from the tapes. It is an extraordinarily tough lineup, that's for sure.
Yes, heat number 3 it is, with Freddie Lindgren off the inside for Sweden in red. No rider off 2, Stevie Waddle disqualified for the tapes. Bartosz Marslik, gate 3 in blue for Poland, and Vladimir Tarasenko going off the outside for Russia. Can anybody stop Marslik here? 2 wins out of 2 so far for Poland.
Yes.
Can Lindgren do it off the inside?
Well, Lindgren's been in good form, really good form this season, and he's won a Grand Prix. He's had a knee injury, but he's recovered from that, and he's still full of confidence and riding well. So, yes, I do think that Lindgren could make Marslik work very hard. Tarasenko, if he gets away, rode very nicely last night, so don't rule him out.
Yep, here we go then, heat number 3. And it's a superstar from Freddie Lindgren. Going to try and take the man wide here. Lindgren knows how to do that. That's a steeper move. Charging through, and oh, they're all bunched up here. This is a good start to the race. Tarasenko in the mix. The pole here is Bartosz Marslik, but Freddie Lindgren has the lead. Tarasenko is second. Marslik is third right now. It was a smart move by Lindgren in that first lap, Kelvin. Here comes Marslik down the back straight, hanging off the bike.
Crikey, O'Reilly, what a move that was from Marslik. Nearly took the handlebar off Tarasenko's bike down the back straight. Freddie Lindgren was really sharp away from the tapes, dropped the clutch, bang on, and crikey, he looks good out in front. I fancied he could make Marslik work hard, and he really is, but Marslik is riding really forcefully in the second place. A lap to go. Freddie Lindgren is really going to have to wind it on because Marslik is working overtime in second place.
Yes, he is, but I think Lindgren has got enough in hand here as long as he doesn't make any mistake. He's holding a sensible line. He's an experienced rider. Good ride, Freddie Lindgren. Brilliant. For Sweden, and Poland dropped their first point of the night in the third heat, but Marslik was still looking strong there. But full credit to Freddie Lindgren. That was a good ride, and Sweden are now just 2 points behind Poland in the early stages of this final of the Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup. Freddie Lindgren, who our British viewers and our overseas viewers as well will see in league action on Monday night for Wolverhampton against Rye House in the British Premiership. Lindgren wins the race. Marslik was second. Tarasenko was third. This is what it means overall after 3 outings now. Poland are on 8, Sweden 6, Russia 3, Great Britain just a 1 point from 3 rides, with Worrell touching the tapes. But I thought Lindgren did superbly well in the first lap there. He knew exactly what he was doing, Kel, to ride defensively.
You hit the nail on the head because he's an experienced campaigner. He makes a fabulous start. And the bike absolutely leapt away from the tapes. He just drifts off the line there, makes Marslik work hard. And then Marslik is in trouble because he found Tarasenko coming up the inside, and he really did have to pull all the stops out to get the better of the Russian. And finally, he gets into second place. He has speed, but Freddie Lindgren, we fancied he might well be able to put some pressure on the poles in his opening ride, and surely he does, and he comes up with a very strong ride. Got to remember, the Swedes, this team were world champions just 2 years ago, so they know what it's all about.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very good point that you made there. And Voyens in Denmark, a surprise victory for Sweden on that occasion. And, well, it is tough for the British boys so far tonight. As we look towards heat number 4, doesn't get any easier for Chris Harris of Great Britain. A decade since his win at Cardiff. Can you believe that? One of the most famous moments in Speedway Grand Prix history when Chris Harris pulled off that extraordinary win at Cardiff in 2007 when he passed Greg Hancock. Here's your lineup. Piotr Pawlicki off the inside in blue for Poland. Antonio Lindback for Sweden off gate 2 in red. Andrei Kudryashov for Russia off gate 3 in yellow. Harris off the outside. It's a long way from gate 4, Kel.
It is indeed, but he is our most experienced man. He's been in these situations before, so let's hope that Chris Harris can come up with a really strong ride and settle the nerves in Team GB's camp. That's what they need. But you've got to keep an eye out for a man on the inside there, Pawlicki. He knows what it's all about to win the World Cup.
Yep, so who's going to emerge in that first turn? It's a great start from the pole. Piotr Pawlicki, a local here in Leszno. And now Lindback around the outside. What a battle going on here with Antonio Lindback. Around the outside he comes. Oh, that is a wonderful ride from Antonio Lindback. Pawlicki is in second place right now. There's a battle for third as well as Harris comes through for Great Britain. He's got the better here of Andrei Kudryashov. But Kelvin, what a move from Antonio Lindback of Sweden.
Antonio Lindback, that was a special opening lap of speedway from him because Pawlicki made a really good start. Not an easy man to overtake, but Lindback has got a lot of speed out in front and he's pulling away. The Swedes could go back-to-back wins. Are we going to see a dramatic night? Sweden mean business here. Harris in third place, the Russians are out the back, but Antonio Lindback is riding brilliantly in his opening ride.
Yep, Sweden are going to close the gap after the first set of heats to just 1 point. Superb ride from Antonio Lindback for Sweden. Piotr Pawlicki knows every inch of this Leszno track. He's grown up here. He was passed by Lindback brilliantly there. What a ride that was. 10-9 at the top of the leaderboard for
Very
Poland.
impressive, that.
Yes,
really
superb.
impressive. The speed he showed there was just extraordinary. Just pulled away from Pawlicki.
Brilliant ride indeed from Antonio Lindback, from Piotr Pawlicki, from Chris Harris, and Kudryashov at the back. So this is the score. It's Poland 10, Sweden 9, Russia 3, and Great Britain 2 after 4 heats here in Leszno.
So Poland just edging it and delighting the home crowd. Team GB with work to do after 4 heats. The Speedway World Cup continues after this short break. One of them scored by Chris Harris. He's with Steve Brandon.
Chris Harris, the final started. It's tough speedway out there.
Yeah, no, it would be. Gate 4 is a long way to come here and, yeah, lifted a little bit, but sort of speed's not too far off. When you get in all that roost, it sort of slows you down a bit.
I know it's tough that sort of Sweden and Poland have put down a little bit of a marker and sort of got ahead of everyone, but a long format like this, a couple of decent heats, and you get yourself back in it quite quickly. Yeah,
a couple of good heats, and the riders are going to be taking points off each other, so we just need to get out in front and get some fresh air, and yeah, we should be going from there.
Quick word on the track, it looks slightly different to last night, maybe a little bit more grip going to develop on the outside.
Yeah, I felt there was a bit on the outside, so I think a few more rounds and there'd be a bit more dirt out there, so it should be good racing.
Thanks for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Well, we heard before the meeting they perhaps weren't quite right with the setups, and after that first lot of racing they'll now go back and obviously alter what they need to alter, but they weren't perhaps 100% with things before the meeting, were they, Team GB?
No, and again, they've had very limited experience. They don't really have a kind of a book to look back for setups on. First race.
And a short time in practice as well.
That's it. It's only literally a few minutes. They get, I think it's 2 minutes 3 times, so 6 minutes total of practice. So it's very limited, but it's exceptionally tough. But you know, I'm sure they'll make some changes. At least they've got one race out of the way.
We talked about nerves before the meeting. Is that what we saw from Stevie Worrell, do you think, in heat number 3? Would you put it down to nerves?
Definitely so. He's off the favoured gate 2, which have been working the best so far, and I mean, you just see they're just so anxious to get away. He's not been anything close to this. You know, last year, Team GB, they were at the World Cup final in Manchester, but on home soil, they're in familiar surroundings. That's very, very different.
Well, how big an impact does that crowd have? How intimidating can that crowd be for someone like for a team like Team GB?
Massively. Like I said, Chris Harris is the only rider in this lineup that's experienced anything close to this, so he'll be the most accustomed to it. You know, the fans, they're fantastic, but they're so passionate about their speedway. They're very different, they're very vocal. You know, their air horns off, smoke bombs, they throw things. That can be pretty intimidating. Well, Sweden are the ones that are launching the early challenge to Poland. The winner of heat number 4 was Antonio Lindback, and he's with Brando.
Antonio, it's been a pretty big week for you. A couple of weeks you've got married, you've won the Swedish Championship again, and now you've won your first ride in the World Cup final. Yeah, they have been a good week for me, you know, so I'm very happy for this week. But today, like you say, it's a new meeting, very, very important meeting, and we are starting up pretty good. Linus was making one mistake and he was getting past, but we are still in there, so and I was winning my race, so no, it's a good start. And we know in this format, it's a long way to go. There's 16 races left. It's just important for the team to keep concentrating, keep working together. Yeah, like you say, the meeting is still long, but we want to keep tight here in the beginning so we don't losing too much, and just keep fighting so we are still with everybody and up there. So we're doing our best and we just keep fighting. Keep up the good work. Thanks.
a comfortable win for Antonio Lindback in heat number 4 in the end, and we know on his day he can do it. He's the new Swedish champion and is coming into a bit more form after a disappointing start to the GPs.
It was a very, very slow start by his standards, but that race showed us the Antonio that we know we're seeing. But like I say, the track, perhaps a little bit more dirt on than last night. Chris Harrison interviewed the roost, the dirt spraying off the back wheels. You have to stay away from that because it does really slow you down. But Stevie Worrell now coming out, hopefully will have got rid of those first race gremlins and be a lot more relaxed and composed in this one.
In terms of Sweden, the only team at the moment to take points off Poland, they weren't fancied in 2015 when they won. Have we written them off unfairly tonight? well, I think this. I mean, I think people will. I mean, people will be focused on Russia because of their performances over, you know, in Sweden and then last night in the race-off. But Sweden, they've got some proper class riders, and that third and fourth turn, Lena Sundström just made a tiny mistake, and Janowski pounced. So keep an eye on that turn. The riders are ready for heat number 5 then. Here's Calvin and Nigel.
Here we go with heat number 5 then, and doesn't get any easier for Stevie Worrell, does it? The Bellevue and Newcastle man off the inside in white. Andrei Kudryashov for Russia off the outside of him in gate number 2 in yellow. Magic Mats Janowski, the home rider, in gate 3 in blue for Poland. And Andreas Jonsson for Sweden off gate 4 in red. It's a lovely evening hour with the sun beating down on this giant of an arena. Which is absolutely packed to the rafters. It is a proper cup final atmosphere here.
Indeed it is. It's an old stadium, but it's got plenty of character. We've seen some wonderful speedway here in the past. 2012 was the last time we were here for Grand Prix, but we have seen the World Cup here before as well. And this track has always been a favourite for many riders. Janowski for the home team here coming out of gate 3. Jonsson on gate 4, rode strongly for his second place in his opening ride, but Janowski was really quite ruthless when he came through to get the better of the opposition late on to snatch the win away. But Steve Worrell on the inside, you've said it, Nige, he needs to just breathe, he hasn't got to look at another rider now. He looks to the left and just looks at the magnet on the tapes. Let's hope he can just do it this time.
Yep, heat number 5 it is, and Worrell has made a decent start off gate number 1. Stevie Worrell has the lead early on. Coming around the outside, though, is Mats Janowski, and charging around is Andreas Jonsson. Worrell has gone to 3rd, and the man at the back right now is Andrei Kudryashov, but Worrell still battling hard with Jonsson. The lead then here is with Mats Janowski of Poland. Oh, Worrell's going to try and come up the inside of Jonsson, who's got the bike back under control.
Jonsson lifting violently there. I thought for a moment that Worrell was going to be able to get the better of the Swedish man. It's nip and tuck for 2nd and 3rd. Janowski, well, terrific once again out in front. Got the better of the opposition down the back straight on the opening lap. Jonsson now beginning to pull away from Worrell. Effectively, this is Worrell's first race after he touched the tapes in his opening ride. Janowski, majestic, magic out in front. The Poles are loving this.
Yep, and Kudryashov is going to challenge Worrell now. Kudryashov down the back straight for 3rd. He's going to pass Stevie Worrell, who's going to go from 3rd to 4th. And now he's battling back for 3rd. The win is for Janowski. 2nd place in red is Jonsson, and Worrell just about held on. Showed a lot of courage there. Kudryashov passed him at one stage, but Worrell held the line and gets a point for Great Britain. And they are now level with Russia in the battle for the bronze medal in the World Cup tonight. So that was a good race. Heat number 5 once again. Mats Janowski, simply superb. Jonsson coming through into 2nd. Worrell was 3rd when it looked as though he was going to finish last. Full credit to Worrell there, held his nerve. 13-11 in favour of Poland over Sweden, and level between Russia and Britain on 3 points apiece after 5 races here in Leszno.
Yeah, well, that was a wonderful ride from Janowski, and he makes a decent getaway. Stevie Worrell, in actual fact, drops the clutch bang on here, round the inside in the first corner, but he's going to still feel a bit tight and just gets out-battled down the back straight on the opening lap, with both Poland and Sweden sweeping round the outside to get the better of the GB man. Once again into that first corner, Worrell making the start on the inside. Janowski and Andreas Jonsson just too fast for him coming off that second corner on the opening lap. Jonsson nearly throws it away there. Quite often Jonsson looks for too much grip mid-corner and lifts, but he just about hangs on. Then there's a bit of a battle for 3rd between Kudryashov and Worrell, but Worrell then comes back and picks up a vital point. But for Janowski out in front, that was a terrific ride from him. Here's the battle to the line for third place for Team GB, but that man, unbeaten so far, leading his team brilliantly.
Yes, very much so. When you look at the Polish riders, Dudek, Janowski, Pawlicki, Smarslik, all Grand Prix riders.
Wow.
And all Grand Prix riders that you would expect to be challenging up there in the GP series for a number of years ahead.
Yeah, they have got such a bright future ahead. They've got riders coming as well. Smarslik has been a little off colour in the Grand Prix, but I'm sure it won't be very long before we see him back to his best there. So yes, they've got a fantastic looking team.
They have indeed, and it's Linus Sundström who made that super start on his opening ride before making that mistake. He's off the inside in red. Chris Harris, Great Britain's most experienced rider, off gate 2 in white. Vadim Tarasenko for Russia off 3. And Patrick Dudek going off the outside. We say it's a long way to that first turn. Let's see what Dudek can do, carrying loads of speed here around this Leszno track tonight. Heat number 6 it is. What a start that is from Chris Harris on gate number 2. He has made an absolute worldie of a start. Chris Harris in white. Here comes Dudek though. Dudek's got the speed. He's going to go wide. Will Harris take him out far enough? Harris battling through. Dudek is coming through now. Dudek has the lead. Harris goes wide. The challenge is on for Linus Sundström now to charge hard with Chris Harris. A battle on. Harris is made of stern stuff, but Dudek is pulling clear here.
Well, so is Dudek. That was some lap from Dudek. He had to work very hard there, indeed, to get the better of Harris, because Harris was really tough with him down in the first lap in turns 3 and 4. But Dudek is absolutely flying now, absolutely focused on picking up another win. Harris is riding really well for Team Great Britain here in second place. Linus Sundström back in third, but Patrick Dudek, no wonder he's leading the World Championship. A wonderful ride from him again.
Here he goes again. It's Patrick Dudek for Poland. Chris Harris just about hangs on for second place for Great Britain to boost their chances of a bronze medal in the World Cup. What an atmosphere here.
What a ride.
Yeah, great stuff.
Dudek is such an exciting rider to watch. He just snuck underneath the handlebar through that first lap when Harris was forcing him wide, but he wouldn't be denied. The speed that he has, he's able to create through the corners is absolutely mind-blowing, breathtaking stuff from Patrick Dudek once again.
Dudek the winner, Harris second, Sundström was third, and this is the latest score. It is Poland 16, Sweden 12, Great Britain 5, Russia have 3. So Great Britain and Russia are in joker territory. They're 6 behind the leading nation. They can nominate a rider, or bring a rider in as a tactical sub and nominate for double points as a joker. Let's see if Alan Rossiter makes his move in the not too distant future.
Super start from Chris Harris out of gate 2, and down that back straight on the opening lap, he was got his nose in front. Terrific effort from Harris, showing his experience here. There's no doubt about that. Absolutely nails it, but you can't resist a rider like Dudek. This is just extraordinary performance from him. It's just sensational speedway from Patrick Dudek. He's a lightweight. That is just wonderful footage, and look at him go. Once he hits the front, there is no turning back. Team GB probably can't quite believe it. Nor can Harris. Harris is absolutely ruthless there, but Dudek, there's only one place he's going, and that's to the front. Fantastic speedway from him, and a good battle for second and third. But Patrick Dudek, joint leader of the World Championship, and a rider that is in his debut season in the Speedway Grand Prix. Looks like he's been around for years.
Yeah, he's class, no doubt, and good to watch as well. Pretty spectacular. I'm sure he's going to really relish the opportunity to ride in front of 40,000 plus at Cardiff 2 weeks tonight at the Principality Stadium in the British Grand Prix. Emil Sayfutdinov off the inside in yellow. He'll be at Cardiff. So will Craig Cook as a wild card off 3. Piotr Pawlicki will be there. Freddie Lindgren will be there. They're all there.
They're all in it.
We're there as well.
Whee! Can't wait. 2 weeks to the biggest speedway meeting in the world. Fantastic. Sayfutdinov on the inside. Knows this place like the back of his hand. Can Cook come up with something special? Gate 2's been working well so far.
It has. Heat number 7. Here we go. That's a superb start from Emil Sayfutdinov, but charging through. Oh, look at that for a move from Lindgren. Where did he find that from? And now the pole charges on and dives through in blue. Piotr Pawlicki. Lindgren's back for more. Cook's challenging hard for third place with Sayfutdinov. What a battle this is. It's Freddie Lindgren Lindgren! He's coming back for more!
What a speedway race we've got now! Lindgren riding fantastically well. Pawlicki round the outside this time. That is extraordinary once again. They are inspired, this team from Poland. Brilliant stuff. Lindgren now coming under pressure from Saifulov. Keep your eyes on Saifulov on the inside.
What a battle this is! It is Piotr Pawlicki in his own backyard. From Freddie Lindgren in second spot, he couldn't keep him at bay. Piotr Pawlicki from Freddie Lindgren, from Emil Saifulov and Craig Cook. What a race, goodness me.
Extraordinary speedway. Speedway out of the top draw. Unbelievable battle for 2.5 laps between Lindgren and Pawlicki. Pawlicki, the speed he then generated around the outside of Lindgren, down the back straight for the third time. Well, again, breathless, impossible to resist. What a speedway race. And I've got to say, I've got a feeling that the Polish boys are fired up here.
They are
because
indeed.
They are riding so strongly. It's unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, they're so powerful. They've won the last 3 heats, but they're only 5 up on Sweden. Great Britain are on 5 points, and Russia have closed the gap to 4 now with that third for Emil Saifulov. Craig Cook trailing at the back on that occasion. So, what a race. This was superb to watch.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it again. Here it is, Pawlicki off gate 3. What a move from Lindgren. Brilliant move from him. Split-second decision, slices through the traffic, hits the front, but it doesn't stay like that for long. Pawlicki then charging back to the inside, becomes a narrow, inevitably has to run wide. Lindgren ruthless as they go over the start and finish line to get into the second lap. Pawlicki again replaying the compliment. Brilliant stuff from him, down that back straight, squares the corner off, up the inside, and Lindgren then back again, swapping places every single time, but then Pawlicki moves higher up the banking, generates more momentum, and in truth, from that moment on, that man, Schieslak, is confident that his man's going to win the race. Brilliant speedway, world-class speedway, and Pawlicki fired up, really meant business there, but the Swedes are hanging in there.
They are indeed. They're making a real battle of it here in Leszno. So this is heat number 8 after this one. Every rider will have completed 2 outings in the Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup Final. Here's your lineup for heat number 8. Going off the inside, it's Robert Lambert for Team Great Britain, the youngster from Norfolk. Gleb Chuganov, the Russian reserve, who was sensational last night in the runoff.
Well, they were in a rush.
They were. Antonio Lindback, gate 3 in red for Sweden, and Bartosz Marslik off the outside. What a lineup, what a racing prospect. Here we go, Smarslik's made a good start on 4, but look at that for a start from Chuganov, and look at Smarslik now. How easy was that? He's almost bouncing off the fence. That was spectacular. From the pole, Bartosz Marslik tearing it up. Lindback's taking up the challenge now in second spot. Chuganov is third with Lambert at the back, and Lindback almost loses it, but it's a superb ride. I mean, here, Bartosz Marslik is almost hanging off the speedway bike.
He is indeed. He's showing great speed again out in front. Brilliant stuff from him. Antonio Lindback now through. Tarasenko made a super style initially. Got to give him credit there. Robbie Lambert out the back, just outpaced here. Bartosz Marslik, crikey, what on earth have they got in those tanks? They are absolutely flying in front. Antonio Lindback, who was really very impressive in his opening ride, has been dropped here. Marslik in a class of his own here.
Yeah, looking superb. He's going to win it by some margin. Poland march on. They have won all 4 of the last 4 heats in that set of races here. Goodness me.
Well,
it's ominous for the opposition here, Kel.
it is indeed. The speed shown by Pawlicki in the previous race, backed up by a brilliant ride from Smarslik, who dropped a point in his opening ride. And you can just see the intent from the riders. They are not intimidated by this arena. They are inspired by it. And they are almost nigh on unstoppable right now. What a ride from Smarslik.
Smarslik, Lindback, Chuganov and Lambert, the finishing order. 8 heats gone, and this is how it looks now. It's Poland 22, Sweden 16, Great Britain and Russia on 5 points apiece. The battle for the gold is between 2 nations. The battle for bronze is between 2 nations as well.
So the defending champions leading the way in Leszno with 4 wins in the last 4 races. We've got Heat 9 in the Speedway World Cup coming up after the break. Maciej has won 2 heats out of 2. He's with Brando.
Maciej almost the perfect start for Poland.
Yeah, yeah, it's so far so good, but still we have a lot of heats to finish.
But coming to a World Cup final like this with 4 guys in the top 10 in the World Championship, you must be pretty confident of all of your form at the moment.
You know, this is like strange feeling because when you race for your national, when you race for your country, it's completely different than the Grand Prix. We all was feeling like nervous, exciting, but this is a weird feeling, especially when you see that many people. It's amazing, and I hope we can keep going like that.
It must seem strange, yeah, because normally every fortnight you're trying to beat each other in a Grand Prix, but to come here as a team, it looks like you're having a lot of fun.
I'm glad this looks like this, but we're still a little bit nervous, but I think we all find some good setup, and we need to stay focused about this, what we do now, and I hope we can make a couple more wins and make this meeting more relaxed.
An amazing reception and amazing support from the crowd as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. When we heard a national song, it was like almost shaking. So it's great, we race Speedway for this.
Long way to go, but good work so far.
Thank you very much.
Maciej there, even they get nervous, unbelievably, but it is a big event for all of them. They're still only young riders, and it shows just what it means to them and the country. And Speedway is so big in Poland. It
is. It's absolutely huge in Poland. We can see by the crowd. But yeah, but it's really cool that he said that, how they kind of got that mixed emotion of excitement and nerves. They're out and out favourites, but still they're feeling the pressure.
They're not complacent, like we talked about before. They're not being complacent about anything. They're still on edge like everybody else.
They are, but it's nerves bring the best out of you. You have to have a little bit of nerves to keep yourself sharp. But look at that, just 2 points dropped. What a start for Team Poland.
They really, when they're winning races, well, they've won their last 4. They're clearly winning. Where are they generating that speed from? People new to Speedway, they'll want to know, is it the setup? Is it the way they're racing around the track? Is it that they're confident? What is it?
It's a combination of the two. The setup is key. If your bike is not quick enough, it stands out night and down the track like this. But also you can see that they're riding so smooth, they're just keeping their wheels in line. And when they win race and dominate like that, it's frustrating for the other teams. You're almost scratching your head as to what can you do to get on pace.
OK, we are ready for our next lot of racing then. Let's head back to track. Here's Calvin and Nigel.
So heat number 9 it is here in Leszno, and it is Bartosz Smarslik off the inside. How quick was he last time out? Andreas Jonsson goes off gate 2 in red for Sweden. Chris Harris gate 3 white for Great Britain, and Emil Sayfutinov going off the outside in yellow for Russia. Poland have scored 22 out of a possible 24 points, and they are looking super quick. It really is a tall order for them to be caught now, but we've only had 8 of the 20 heats, and the Joker will come into play at some stage.
And Sweden could play it now if they wanted to, but they've resisted that temptation. I just thought they might have done with Freddie Lindgren here, but it's never going to be easy to play the Joker tonight when the Polish team are in such dominant form. Harris rode really well in his opening ride, credit to him. Sayfutinov not quite at his best so far this evening. Maybe we'll see it now, but never easy to turn around after last night's performance and do it all again. Good lineup though, really good.
Yep, heat number 9 it is then here in Leszno. Cracking lineup indeed, here we go. That's a great start from the inside. Smarslik is there, Harris has cut up the inside, he's at it again. Chris Harris for Great Britain. What a ride from him. Here comes Sayfutinov around the outside. Emil Sayfutinov is in the yellow helmet colour. He's got the speed. Chris Harris is in second spot right now. Smarslik battling with Jonsson for Sweden. Smarslik is now going to put the pressure on Harris. Great race developing here.
Harris is on the pace here. He really is in this. Sayfutinov was terrific on the opening lap. Smarslik is working hard. He had a hard first corner. He's now up the inside of Harris, slamming the door shut. Chris Harris, I tell you what, that's a brave ride from Harris. But here comes Smarslik now up the inside. Harris chopping back to the inside. Oh, coming out of turn 4. No, he's not there. Sayfutinov, brilliant out in front. What a ride from him.
Yep, Emil Sayfutinov back to his best last night in the race-off. He's at it again here as well.
Yep.
That is a super ride. He passed Harris superbly. Smarslik got the better of Chris Harris as well. The second spot here. Harris gets another point. That's 4 from 3 rides for the Great Britain man, with Andreas Jonsson trailing at the back there. Another good speedway race.
Should have played the Joker there.
Yes.
Should have played the Joker with Lindgren, I think. I just think tonight it's never going to be easy to do it, but Lindgren is probably their best man. Smarslik's one of 2 riders that have dropped a point from Poland, and he drops another point there. I just sense that may have been an opportunity missed. Tough, though.
Yeah, it's a costly last place for Sweden. Look how it's opened it up now. 8-point gap. Poland on to 24 and Sweden 16. Russia on 8 and Great Britain on 6, and Chris Harris has scored 4 of those 6 points.
Tell you what, he was good there, Harris.
Yeah, he rode well, didn't he?
Really good.
Yeah, full credit to Chris Harris for Great Britain battling away. But Emil Sayfutinov, well, unstoppable that time, and a smart move to get the better of Chris.
Yeah, not easy coming from the outside, but he chops back to the inside. Super move from Harris to get round the inside initially, but Sayfutinov and Harris battling hard down that back straight and through turns 3 and 4. Harris once again making the Russian really work very hard indeed, and he finally slips around the outside of him as they go into the second lap. Smarslik finally getting the better of Andreas Jonsson, coming through into 3rd place, and then works very hard to get the better of Chris Harris in 2nd place. Real battle for 2nd and 3rd there, with Smarslik clearly very determined to get himself up into 2nd place, but Sayfutinov have flown away by then. And as you rightly say, Nigel, he was on great form last night, and that was something very similar to what he did last night.
Well, he's getting ready for a Joker ride pretty soon as well. I can tell you there is one here in heat number 10. Antonio Lindback is a tactical substitution for Linus Sundström for Sweden, and he is going for double points on the Joker ride from the outside gate. He's up against Chuganov, Pawlicki and Waddle. Morgan Anderson is the Swedish team manager, and he brings in his man Antonio Lindback as a replacement for Sundström and puts him on the Joker as well.
And I think we've got Tarasenko, isn't it, as well as a replacement here. And it normally would have been Chuganov going off the inside as the under-21 rider, but Vadim Tarasenko coming in for the inside gate here as well for the Russians. So a couple of replacements coming in, and Antonio Lindback played the Joker. I would have done it in the race before, but Morgan Anderson has gone with it now. And I'll tell you what, he's got half a chance here, I think.
Yep, spotted that well, Kel. Tarasenko off the inside gate in yellow. Glad one of us is alert tonight. Piotr Pawlicki off gate 2 in blue. Steve Worrell gate 3 in white. And the substitute and Joker, Antonio Lindback, off the outside in red for Sweden. But Pawlicki, we remind you, was super quick in his previous ride, wasn't he, Kel?
He was indeed. He really put his head down and got the better of the opposition and run nicely. But Antonio Lindback, well, he's no slouch.
Yep, here we go, heat number 10. Big race coming up here, and it's a great start for Pawlicki off gate number 2. Here comes Lindback through the middle! What a move from Antonio Lindback! Pawlicki's coming back for more. Stevie Worrell for Great Britain is holding 3rd place ahead of the Russian Tarasenko now. But it's Antonio Lindback who could lead Sweden to 6 huge points here, but he's got Pawlicki right up his exhaust pipe.
Indeed he has. Great first corner from Antonio Lindback, chopped back to the inside. Pawlicki's right there in 2nd place. 2 nations out in front. Worrell hanging on to 3rd place in front of Tarasenko. Antonio Lindback being put under immense pressure from Pawlicki, but fair play to the Swedish man. He's hanging on out in front, roaring round the bottom corner into the last lap. Can Pawlicki find a way through?
Yeah, this is brilliant from Lindback. Pawlicki is following him. He's right up there. Look at the pressure he's putting on. He's going to try the inside run now. Down to the line. Lindback's got the drive. Is Lindback going to get there? Yes, he is. And Stevie Worrell holds on for 3rd ahead of Tarasenko. Could be a big point for Great Britain, if they're going to get a bronze medal here tonight. But that was 6 huge points for Sweden. Takes them on to 22.
Wow.
Piotr Pawlicki tried everything for Poland there. They're on 26. They're still 4 ahead of Sweden. And a valuable point for Great Britain from Stevie Worrell to put them just 1 point behind Russia now at the foot of the table. 10 heats gone. We're halfway through this final in Leszno, Poland. And here is the latest score now. Poland 26, Sweden 22, Russia 8, Great Britain 7.
Brilliant stuff, and I've got to say that Morgan Anderson knows a lot more about team managing than I do, because I would have played the joker in the previous race. But he was patient, and he came up and he made a great decision, because Antonio Lindback rides for him brilliantly here. Pawlicki there, just running a little wide in that first corner, but it's very difficult to make the decision there. There's so much racing room. And Pawlicki decides, he elects to run up the banking, and Antonio Lindback, who didn't get away very well, chops through the traffic and fires himself to the front. It is one hell of a race out in front. The speed they had with the two boys. Pawlicki was right there, right up his exhaust pipe, challenging throughout the 4 laps. Lindback could not blink for a moment, otherwise Pawlicki would have been through. Worrell hanging on for 3rd place. That was a decent effort from him, with Tarasenko coming in for the Russians. But crikey, another smashing speedway race.
And Emil Sayfutdinov replaces Andrei Kudryashov here in heat number 11 for Russia. And so they are giving Emil an extra ride, and they're going for double points as well. But he's up against Dudek and Lindgren and Lambert. Lambert hasn't been able to make an impression yet. The young man hasn't scored a point so far. But
what a lineup again.
Lindgren and Dudek.
Crikey.
It's a big call putting Emil up against these two.
It is indeed.
With the greatest respect to Robert.
Absolutely. Robert just finding the level of competition tough tonight, but it's a great learning curve for him. He has a huge future in front of him, I'm sure. Emil Sayfutdinov, brilliant last time out.
Yep, he was indeed. This is one heck of a lineup, heat number 11. Hope you're enjoying the action tonight. Proper speedway, as my colleague to my right calls it. Heat number 11, here we go. World Cup Final Speedway. And what a start that is from Patrick Dudek, and Emil Sayfutdinov now is going to try and come through. Sayfutdinov, the Russian, battles through into 2nd spot now. Lindgren is going wide. Sayfutdinov is trying the high run around the outside. Dudek has blocked his move. Lindgren. And now Lindgren's come through to take the lead. What a move from the Swede. It is Freddie Lindgren from Patrick Dudek. And it was a big call to put Sayfutdinov in against these two.
Yeah.
And at the moment, he's holding 3rd place.
You called it. Freddie Lindgren there took the opportunity with Dudek pushing Sayfutdinov very wide, and that allowed Freddie Lindgren through up the inside. An opportunist move from Freddie Lindgren, but it's not over, because Dudek is right there. Dudek now chopping back to the inside. Can he make that work, as Lindgren's right on the outside? There's a lap to go. Not much to call between the front two, but Fredrik Lindgren here riding brilliantly for his country.
This is why Lindgren is now one of the top riders in World Speedway. The Swedish star, the skipper.
Run to the line.
To the line. Oh, goodness me.
Lindgren just. I think
so, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant effort from Dudek. Tell you what, Freddie Lindgren just lifted momentarily down the back straight. Out of here, right on the inside. Lindgren very, very wide. But I sense that Lindgren just has... Yes. Just has enough. Great effort from Freddie Lindgren there. Superb ride.
Yeah. Our gut instinct said it was him. And it's a super ride, because it puts Sweden on to 25 points. And Poland are now on 28. So a 3-point gap.
Tight.
Absolutely. And it's 2 points for Russia on that occasion. Puts them 3 clear of Great Britain now.
You said it though, Nigel. You said it. That was a brave move by Andrei Savin, the manager for Russia, to put Sayfutdinov out there, off the outside as well, and just couldn't quite make it work, Sayfutdinov, that time.
Yep, Lindgren from Dudek. 2nd spot for Patrick Dudek. And that's the score now. 28 plays 25. Russia 10, Great Britain 7. After 11 races of this final. Very, very fast track here in Leszno.
What an opening lap of speedway, though. Dudek makes a great start from the inside. Freddie Lindgren allows the bike to go right up the banking here, and the speed he gets. This is the moment now with Sayfutdinov running really hard around the outside of Dudek, and Dudek is more worried about Sayfutdinov, shoves him wide, but He goes that wide, it allows Lindgren to come up the inside, and as they enter the second lap, Freddie Lindgren from Sweden says, thank you very much, and dives to the front. He has to work hard, though, because Dudek is supremely quick. Sayfutdinov just getting beaten up there by Dudek. Ruthless move from Dudek to slam the door shut in front of the Russian, but Freddie Lindgren is riding well here, and the Swedes are holding their own.
They are indeed. They're making a real fight of it. Great Britain do still have the opportunity of a joker. We remind you of that. They're not playing it here. Craig Cook in white. And I can tell you as well that there is a change for Russia, and that is that Gleb Chuganov has come in for Tarasenko here. So the reserve rider coming in.
Very observant there, Nigel.
Alan Rossiter only has 4 more heats after this to make the joker. So I'm pretty sure he's going to use Chris Harris for that. He has to, surely.
Yep.
Gleb Chuganov off the inside in yellow for Russia. Gate 2 is Matsianowski for Poland here. 2 rides, 2 wins for him. Craig Cook, gate 3 in white for Great Britain, and Antonio Lindback off the outside for Sweden. Here we go. Heat number 12. And it's a good start from Janowski off gate number 2. What a start that is. Coming around the outside is Antonio Lindback for Sweden now.
Brilliant.
And Craig Cook for Great Britain in 3rd place. What a move from Antonio Lindback. They're going to close the gap on Poland to just 2 points with 8 races of the final to go. This is not done yet, the title race. Lindback is riding brilliantly, and Chuganov has just passed Craig Cook for 3rd.
Yeah, great ride from the young Russian to get the better of Captain Cook. Antonio Lindback, he's inspired here. This is some ride from him. So much speed. Rode brilliantly to get the better of Pavlitsky with the joker last time. Looked like he could well pick up 9 points from his last 2 rides. And the Swedes are right in this, Nigel. This is fantastic. Absolutely superb stuff. Lindback into the last lap. And I tell you what, Janowski's got no answer to him.
No, Antonio Lindback absolutely tearing this race up for the Swedes, and he is riding beautifully tonight for Sweden. Antonio Lindback, 3 big points, gets them within 2 of Poland here. Janowski is beaten for the first time tonight.
Yep.
And that is a big result. It moves them on to 28 points. And Poland are on 30. Craig Cook at the back. He'll be disappointed with that, Craig. With Chuganov coming through for the point, puts Russia 4 clear of Great Britain with 8 heats to go. Time running out for Alan Rossiter to make his move for the joker ride. Lindback, Janowski, Chuganov and Cook, the finishing order after 12 heats here in Leszno. This is how it looks. Poland 30, Sweden 28. They've clawed their way back into it, the Swedes. Russia 11, and Great Britain have 7.
Well, this...
We're seeing some great racing in Leszno in this Speedway World Cup, and it is not over yet. Heat 13 is coming up after the break. Positions at the moment, but we know they will fight all the very way to the end. Just a quick reminder that BT Sports domestic speedway coverage continues on Monday night as we bring you the British Premiership meeting between the reigning champions Wolverhampton Wolves and this season's new boys, the Rye House Rockets. We'll get to see Scott Nicholls in action, and we will be live from Monmouth Green at 7:30 on BT Sport 1. So as I say, difficult night so far for Team GB. Their manager is Alan Rossiter, and he's with Steve Brandon.
Alan, still a long way to go, but it's looking pretty tough at the moment.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, they're very quick out here, and you can quite clearly see the difference.
From a rider's perspective, I can sense a little bit of frustration. You know, you come to a meeting like this and it just doesn't fall into place like you thought it would.
No, you know, we generally believed that we could battle with them all, but we just, at the moment, we're being blown out the water a little bit.
But the positive thing is you're still in with a really good middle chance, and Russia tonight look a little bit like a one-man team again.
Yeah, but they're still nicking points, and we got to make sure that we got to be beating them.
Honesty there from Alan Rossiter, being blown out the water. We have seen glimpses of that bulldog spirit, haven't we, from the likes of Chris Harris, and they won't give up until the end, of course. But it is difficult going into a World Cup final, especially against Poland, Sweden and Russia making it difficult as well.
It is. It's yeah. You can never question their determination, but they're just massively outpaced, and that was, I think, the thing we feared. You know, Craig Cook, I mean, he's battling away, but I think it's it's a massive wake-up call that the competition really is on a different level.
We looked at the lineups, and when is Alan Roster going to play the Joker? He could have done it in Heat 7, but when you look at the lineup, it was the right decision perhaps not to. He has to do it in this next block of races, and it's whether he does it on Chris Harris, because he's been performing the better in the team, or Craig Cook.
Yeah, I mean, Cookie is, you know, he'll be desperate to try and put some more points on the board, but, I mean, Bomber is, you know, is the standout performer right now, and they've got gates 4 and 3 respectively in the next 2 races, so if they're going to do it, it has to be there. The inside gates are getting to that first turn first, but because of that dirt on the outside, you know, the last few races, 3 have been won off gate 4, so if he puts Chris out in Heat 14, it gives him a back-to-back race, but it's World Championship, they've got to get some points if they want a medal.
Well, leading the charge at the moment is Poland, but Sweden aren't going anywhere. Their manager is Morgan Anderson, and he's with Brando.
Morgie, almost a perfect set of 4 races for you there.
Yeah, the last 3 one was perfect. Hopefully they are a little bit under pressure now, the Poles, yeah.
You know Antonio as well as I do, when he's in this sort of form, he's a hard man to stop.
Yeah, and when the track is like that, you know, with these racing lines, so we decide to take that Joker from gate 4, and it works out for us, but still 8 heats to go, yeah.
I know as a team you spend a lot of time in the breaks between each 4 heats talking a lot. What are you doing to get AJ maybe up to a little bit more speed? Linus has obviously missed that bracket of 4.
Yeah, but we speak about racing lines and setups and stuff, you know. The track now compares to the first 2 or 3 heats is different, so we do small changes all the way, but we're not far away.
Thank you, sir.
Chris Harris is on the Joker here in Heat 13. Let's go back to Poland.
Can't disagree with that, and Harris has certainly shown a lot of spirit tonight, which is really encouraging, and I think he can do it. Schmalzlich maybe just a touch too much, but certainly Harris has really given his all so far this evening, and fair play to him. Can he do it from the outside? But Schmalzlich out of gate 2, he is in major danger.
He is indeed. Here we go with heat number 13. It's a great start for Schmalzlich. He's made a beautiful start. Harris now charges around the outside. Is Harris going to pinch second place? Yes, he is. Exactly what we were talking about in the build-up to the race. The lead here is with Bartosz Schmalzlich of Poland. Second place is Chris Harris. Third is Linus Sundström. And crucially here, the Russian Andrei Kudryashov is at the back, so Great Britain will pull level into 3rd place with Russia if it stays like this.
Yeah, good effort again from Chris Harris. Got to give him a lot of credit again. He's in 2nd place. Sundström's coming on strongly, very strongly in 3rd place with Schmalzlich out of front. Look out to Sundström. Sundström up the inside. That's a class move from Sundström. Just outbalanced Harris. Track just a little greasy. Now can Harris repay the compliment? Oh, no, not quite. The Russian's out the back. Certainly the Joker not quite working out. Harris with one more blast round the outside, but Schmalzlich's got this.
Here it comes. Chris Harris up the inside for Great Britain. Can he climb the line? No, Sundström's come back for more. It's a win for the pole. Bartosz Schmalzlich in blue, but Linus Sundström has just barged his way past Chris Harris, who is absolutely riding his heart out for Great Britain tonight. But it's Bartosz Schmalzlich who wins the race for the Polish side there and puts them on to 33 points. That's 2nd place for Sweden, important as well. It keeps them within 3 points.
Good ride from Sundström, that.
Puts Great Britain on 9, still 2 behind Russia.
Yep.
There's the result. Schmalzlich, Sundström, Harris. And these are the latest scores here in Leszno, Poland tonight. Poland 33, Sweden 30. Russia 11 and Great Britain on 9. I am hearing that Stevie Worrell will come in as attack sub for Robert Lambert in the next race as well, heat number 14.
Yeah, no real surprise that. Worrell has found it tough. Excuse me, Robbie Lambert has found it tough, but this is an excellent race here. Schmalzlich, red hot favourite and proves to be. A little greasy this time on the track because they've watered. And Harris there gets off that first corner into 2nd place. And for a little while in the early part of the race, it did look like Chris Harris was going to be able to hang on to 2nd place and get the big 4 points because he was racing with double points because he's a joker. But Linus Sundström, this is a class ride from him. Squares that corner off and then squeezes Harris. Harris then does repay the compliment. About half a lap later, Harris then, tenacious, really tenacious. He is able to steam back up the inside. But as the race comes to its conclusion, Lina Sundström just, there we see the move from Harris, runs a little wide, and Sundström is able to read that and is able to chop back to the inside and hangs on to second place. Super race, though. Disappointment for Team Great Britain. The Joker not quite coming through, and still nip and tuck for the bronze medal. But Poland, well, just stretched their lead to 3 points.
Such a tough meeting this for the British boys. We always expected it would be the case. Let's hope that they can benefit from the experience, the younger riders. It's hard on Robert Lambert, but he's a precious young talent. I agree with you, Kel. Cookie as well. Let's hope that he can benefit from the experience of the big occasion. He'll be at Cardiff, of course. Andreas Jonsson off the inside in red for Sweden. Gate 2, Vadim Tarasenko. Go, go, Tarasenko!
Yeah.
Off gate 2 in yellow. It's Super Stevie Worrell off gate 3 in white for Britain. And Piotr Pawlicki, Peter Pan, as Wolverhampton fans know him as. He goes off the outside in the blue helmet.
She's like looking on. It's tight, very tight with the Swede, but Jonsson's got to find something that shows up well. It's got to be a red light.
My goodness, the red lights are on straight away.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Jonsson. Yeah, the crowd don't know, but they don't now. The red light came on fairly quickly. Christian Froschauer.
I thought Pawlicki moved early as well.
It looked like Jonsson really made a bit of a gamble there.
Yes, we'll see it again.
Could well be both riders were a bit keen. And I was focusing on Jonsson because Jonsson failed to score last time, so he needs to get amongst the points this time. Worrell there just going back. See it again. I thought that Jonsson was a bit keen, yeah. But both of them actually go very clean at the same time, but it's a scruffy start. And Christian Froschauer then puts the red light on immediately. I don't think anybody touches the tapes, no exclusion lights on, so it'll be all four back. Possibly somebody with a warning. Maybe 2 on a warning here.
Yeah, the referee wants to see it again, I'm told. The referee is asking for an angle, but I agree with you, Cal. I don't think there's any tape touching there.
No. Yeah.
It's just a case of whether he's going to issue a warning, isn't it? But at the end of the day, he's called it back for a reason, an unsatisfactory start.
Both Sweden and Poland potentially could get warnings here. Both Pawlicki and Jonsson could both be on a warning for that. Both of them quite clearly anticipating the start. We're still waiting for the official verdict from the referee, taking his time.
Yep, all 4 riders are back. We can confirm that. And there is a warning. We'll just confirm who it's for very shortly. And a warning for Piotr Pawlicki.
Well,
for Poland.
I think Andreas Jonsson and the Swedes have been quite relieved at that, because I think they got away with it. Both of them looked like they were a bit keen there, but nonetheless, Piotr Pawlicki's the one with the warning. He's going to have to behave himself. He is the first rider to be thrown out of a Grand Prix heat as a consequence of anticipating with a warning. That happened to him last time out, and he needs to behave. There's pressure on him. He can be a little unpredictable, Pawlicki, at times, and he's he wears his heart on his sleeve, Piotr. Wonderful rider, but he's got a little bit of a temperament, and he needs to remain calm. A couple of deep breaths for young Pawlicki here, and some composure on the start line required.
Yes, they are very highly rated, the Pawlicki brothers, in this part of the world. They're in their own backyard here in Leszno. Of course, this was the home track for many, many years as well for the Australian legend Lee Adams, who plied his trade here in this wonderful venue in the Polish League for many years. And actually, the Pawlicki brothers modelled their style on Lee Adams and wore the same race suit as Lee Adams for quite some time.
Well, he was a hero here, rode here for just over a decade, and really did walk on water for a long time, Lee Adams. Wonderful, wonderful rider.
Yes, and Lee, if you're watching in Australia, we wish you all the very best. Hope you keep him well. Andreas Jonsson off the inside in red, Vadim Tarasenko off gate 2 in yellow, Stevie Worrell gate 3 white, and Piotr Pawlicki on a warning. And the outside gate in blue here.
Jonsson just having a few problems, but got the bike running now. Just stalled it on the start line.
Yep.
He needs a big ride here, Jonsson, really big. Failed to score last time, so Andreas on the inside for the Swedes. They're in this meeting. They are competing very, very well under a huge pressure. The Poles are really keen to win this, but Sweden, they've got a gold medal just 2 years ago. And Jonsson, well, he was very much part of that team. He was captain of that team that time.
Just saw Marek Cieślak there, the Polish team manager. Here we go, heat 14, and Stevie Worrell's made a good game from gate number 3. Go on, Stevie Worrell, in the white helmet colour. Now charging hard in blue for Poland, Piotr Pawlicki. What a ride from the pole. Stevie Worrell's coming back for more for Team Great Britain. What a battle up front. It's Worrell and Pawlicki. Third in yellow. Here is the Russian Tarasenko, but coming round the outside is Andreas Johnson now. What a start that was from Worrell, but the lead here is with Piotr Pawlicki. This could be a huge moment in the battle for the title.
Absolutely, because Andreas Johnson is finding it very hard to get amongst the points. Brilliant stuff from Worrell. He'll be pleased with that, and he's on the pace this time. Andreas Johnson finally getting the better of Tarasenko and through to third place, but out in front, Piotr Pawlicki on the warning. Absolutely supreme out in front, and the Swedes are going to drop a couple of points here, and that will be pivotal, I believe.
This will put Poland 5 up with 6 heats to go. Very much advantage Poland. A huge second place for Stevie Worrell of Great Britain.
Super.
11 points they're on. They're level with Russia now for the bronze medal. All to race for when it comes to the bronze medal here in Leszno now, because Great Britain and Russia are level on 11 points apiece. I know some people will say that's nothing to celebrate because it's only 11 points from 14 heats in this meeting, but there is a bronze medal in the world on the line here tonight in Leszno. But it's very much advantage Poland, Piotr Pawlicki from Stevie Worrell and Andreas Johnson, and that is a fine ride from Worrell.
Very good.
Moves him on to 4 points. Poland 36, Sweden 31, and Russian and GB on 11 points apiece.
Very encouraging for Steve Worrell there, because he showed a lot of composure there and he was right on the pace after a disastrous start. Piotr Pawlicki there, very impressive as well after the warning. Second time of asking. Worrell there coming away from gate 3, hits the front. Pawlicki chops to the inside of him and gets too much speed down there, but Worrell, I've got to say, showed a lot of speed. He was competitive, and he'd be really pleased with that. Andreas Johnson, well, he wasn't really. He had to work awfully hard to get the better of Tarasenko, and just a solitary point. That's 1 point from 2 rides from Johnson, and that is something the Swedes can ill afford to do if they want to pick up a gold here tonight. Piotr Pawlicki captained the team last year in Manchester to gold, and is riding out of his skin again tonight, and Cieślak delighted with that.
Yes, indeed, as we build up to heat number 15 here, Chuganov, the reserve, coming in for the suspended Laguta for Russia, of course. If you missed that last night in the race-off.
Opportunity for Great Britain here.
Yes.
Because Harris has ridden well. He's their best rider, Team GB, and Chuganov, inexperienced. Can't rule him out because he comes up with some stunning rides. Certainly did last night. But Harris on the inside must have half a chance.
Chuganov will go down as one of the highlights of the World Cup for me.
Yeah, agree with that.
Superb form. Never heard of him before this week,
yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
Never seen him.
No. Chris Harris off the inside in white. Freddie Lindgren, magnificent for Sweden so far. He goes off gate 2. He needs a win for his country here, though. Gleb Chuganov, gate 3 in yellow for Russia. And Magic Maciej Janowski for Poland has got the outside gate in blue.
He has indeed, and Janowski needs to keep the momentum going for the Polish team. They really have put their authority on him, but Lindgren, he is a tough customer these days.
He is indeed. Here we go, heat number 15. Good start from Chris Harris off the inside gate. Harris has the early advantage, but they're charging through. Look at that from Janowski. Goodness gracious me. Freddie Lindgren will try the outside run now. Chuganov, the Russian, very much in the mix here, but Janowski saw eyes in the back of his head, predicted where Lindgren was going to go, and that is a huge performance from Maciej Janowski, who stretches his lead over Lindgren. Russia third and Great Britain at the back.
Yeah, well, Chuganov's riding very well for Russia here in third place. Super from the teenager, no doubt about that. Great first corner, you're dead right, Nigel. Janowski absolutely dynamite in that first turn. Lindgren giving chase. Got to say, Chuganov in third place, he's not out of it. He's coming up strong. Wow, he's riding so strongly, but I'll tell you what, the Poles are looking like winners now. They came under a lot of pressure from Sweden, but they have responded. They've shown resilience and shown real class. Look at Janowski go now.
Janowski is going to stretch Poland's lead to 6 points here. 3 big points for Maciej Janowski. Second place, Freddie Lindgren. And third, disappointingly for Great Britain there, was, in fact, Maciej Janowski has miscounted.
Yeah.
Still going round.
Just shows you how focused he is. Yeah. It's over, mate. You don't have to keep going. You've done the business. And done it. And I'll tell you what, he's done it in style. Fair play. I've got to say, he has miscounted. And I'll tell you what, some ride from Maciej Janowski, and the crowd are on their feet. They are saluting the captain. They are also in awe of how hard they're going. They came under pressure, big pressure, just a few heats ago. The Swedes winning races, 9 points from one man, putting the pressure on the Poles. They've responded. They really want it. They've shown a lot of resilience. What a speedway meeting.
Disappointment for Harris for Great Britain there. He allows Russia to just steal a 1-point advantage for that third spot here tonight. There's only 5 heats remaining now, and I can tell you that Poland are now 6 points up on Sweden with only 5 races to go. 39 plays 33, Russia have 12, Great Britain have 11. And we're up to heat number 16 here. Poland edging ever closer, Cal.
They are indeed, and the reason why is their riders have just bounced back to top form after Sweden showed great resilience, or came on strong in the previous rounds of races. England made a good start initially, you've got to say that, but ran very wide, and that allowed that great move from Janowski. We've seen that on several occasions. Young Juganov, he's there as well. He's right in the mix. He is very much involved in this championship. Look at that, he's challenging a Grand Prix winner down the back straight. Fabulous ride from the youngster. But out in front, the concentration, the will, the absolute desire to be champions here this evening in Leszno. The Poles really piling on the pressure on the Swedes and coming up with some fantastic rides in the last couple of rides, in the last couple of heats.
Yes, indeed. They cannot make it mathematically certain just yet. They're 6 up with 5 to go, but they are closing in. Unless Lindback can beat Dudek here and just close the gap again, but then again, it's a race less for Poland to worry about. So it's swings and roundabouts, to coin a good old British phrase. Antonio Lindback goes off the inside in red for Sweden. Magnificent form from him tonight. Emil Sayfutdinov for Russia, gate 2 in yellow. Patrick Dudek for Poland, gate 3 in blue. And welcome to the World Cup final, Stevie Worrell. Off the outside in white.
Yeah, some line-up for Steve, but he was better last time, you know,
Superb,
much better.
right. Yeah.
Really in amongst it, made a great start and didn't get dropped, and that's encouraging. He made a few tweaks and was right on the pace. But Antonio Lindback here, he's been great for the Swedes. Can he pull off another big win now?
Here we go, what a lineup this is. Heat number 16. Well, Worrell was a bit nervy, started moving at the start. Lindback has got there. Now Worrell is going high and wide. Stevie Worrell battling hard for Great Britain down the back straight. Lindback closes the door, Sayfutdinov. And now here comes Dudek up the inside. He's opened the door, and Dudek has come through. Worrell's in the mix, battling with Sayfutdinov. Lindback has the lead now. Worrell's still in the mix. Here comes Stevie Worrell. Oh my goodness, what a ride from Worrell, battling with Patrick Dudek. Great speedway here, heat 16.
Sayfutdinov trying to get up the inside of Steve Worrell. Worrell is right on the pace here. Up the inside, Worrell battling for his life here. This is fantastic stuff from Steve Worrell. Sayfutdinov there at the outside. Antonio Lindback.
Oh my goodness!
4 abreast as they go into the last lap. Sayfutdinov on the outside. Antonio Lindback remarkably is still in front. Dudek down the back straight. Here we go, one lap corner, Nige.
Turns 3 and 4. The lead here is with Lindback. Down to the line they go. Lindback just holds on. Second place was Dudek. Third was Emil Sayfutdinov for Russia. And Stevie Worrell didn't deserve last place there. Somebody had to come last. It ended up being Stevie Worrell. But Stevie Worrell, Great Britain salutes you for a fantastic race there. All 4 riders, take your hat off to them. That was pure entertainment.
Yeah, proper speedway that. And we saw there was twice when they came out of the bottom corner, there was 4 abreast. And it really could have gone any way. What a night Antonio Lindback is enjoying. He has been a superstar for the Swedes and picks up a fantastic win. But it was just a truly extraordinary speedway race. You just did not know where to look. But Antonio Lindback wins in fine style.
Goodness me, what a race indeed. Here's the scores. Poland 41, Sweden 36, Russia 13, Great Britain 11, with 4 heats to go. Don't go anywhere.
The race is still on for all 3 medals at the moment, with 4 heats left. The manager's currently deliberating who to put where. We'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back. So the managers making their selections for the last 4 races. What a heat and what an effort from Stevie Worrell in that last race. Let's hear from him now. He's with Brando.
Steve, can you appreciate what sort of race that was when you're in the middle of it?
It was exciting. Obviously, it's not a bad race to finish last in. Obviously, when you look at the lineup before I go out, you think I'm up against it. But no, I was happy with that.
I know you're a guy that's still developing in your speedway career, but when you can go out in that company and do that, that must give you an awful lot of heart.
Definitely, it's not just being in the race. It's being involved. The passing and repassing and things like that. And in Europe, it's a lot different than it is in England, and obviously you have a lot more room to do it with. And obviously that's part of it, and hopefully I'll just keep learning.
Still a chance of a bronze yet?
Hopefully. We need to fire everyone up.
Keep up the good work.
Cheers, mate.
There is still the chance of a bronze medal, isn't there, Scott? And they, like you were saying, they will go right to the very end. Nobody deserved to finish last in that race.
No, I mean, but, you know, what a lineup. But like I said, they're only 2 points out, and, you know, Stevie really, I mean, he seems to be the form man for Team GB right now.
The difference tonight is, of course, when Team GB were winning in Kings Lynn, they had the last choice. So they're trailing in the points, so Alan Rossiter makes the first try. How important is his decision going to be now?
Well, it's going to be really important. Gate positions are going to be key. I mean, I'm surprised he's put Stevie out in some respects in the first race because he'll be off gate 2. I know they were doing a track prep, but the outside gates have been more sort of productive, and that's kind of race 18 and 19. So I would have thought he'd put his 2 strongest, Chris Harris and Stevie Worrell, out there. But Roscoe's doing what he thinks best, and we'll see what happens.
He's certainly taking his time deliberating and making sure he makes the right decision on what he thinks, of course. Every race, though, it doesn't matter what order they go in. It's like a Grand Prix, isn't it?
Well, exactly.
Every race is difficult.
It is. I suppose, you know, at the outset of the show, Roscoe said he'd change the rider line-up to try and accommodate for, you know, the strengths of these riders in terms of their racing lines and things like that. So you can see there, Robert Lambert out in the last heat, he'll be off gate 1. Which at that stage of meeting will be tough. You can get to the first turn, but I always make these notes about who gets there first, who wins races, and you know, this track is so wide and so fast, and that dirt on the outside line, it gives you such a lot of momentum built up in that first turn. The Russian team manager, he now has the advantage that he can just try and go blow for blow against Team GB. There's no way they can win this event, but a medal is very much still up for grabs.
Is there more pressure on perhaps Morgan Anderson and how he plays this now?
Yeah, well, there's more pressure on the riders, isn't there? They've got to do the job. But no, I mean, you know, they're still within the shout. They're 6 points off the pace. You know, but you'd have to say, I think Team Poland have got it in the bag. But like we've seen so many times, you can't write anybody off in this competition.
They've started to stretch the lead now, haven't they, Poland? The finish line is in sight, not quite there yet, but as we said all along, they were always the favourites going into this.
Well, it is, and like we said from time and time again, you go from top to bottom, there is not a single weak link in their lineup. They've all got double-figure scores. You know, Sweden, Lindback is doing his job fantastically well. Freddie Lindgren is doing brilliant. Lena Sundström and AJ, they've got points on the board, but they're not backing up their 2 top riders the way they need to be if they want that gold medal.
Is this how you predicted it would happen?
Well, honestly, at the outset of the show, we had Poland as favourites, but I was really in a quandary as to where the other 3 would play because you just didn't know. To be fair, Team GB were the biggest question mark because there was so much of the unknown. Sadly, it's not gone the way we wanted it at all. But again, we can still achieve a bronze medal, and whether they only score 16 points to achieve that, a bronze medal is still a medal.
After what we've seen of Russia this week, a few people started to go against the odds by saying Russia actually have a chance. And look how different they've been tonight. Does Mark Lemon have a point in that maybe 2 meetings in 2 nights is just too much?
I think it has to be. I think mentally is the biggest aspect. You know, you're raising a game. You know, the night before any massive competition like this, you kind of, you know, you want to get good night's rest, but trust me, it's almost impossible because your mind is just churning over, going through how you want the next day to go. And that's tough, and that's really, really been highlighted with Russia. I mean, they were outstanding yesterday. I mean, Gleb Chuganov was absolutely superior. Just 2 points tonight.
Yeah. Well, that is the lineup for the final 4 races. The Polish manager just puts his last rider up there. And we can take a look at look back at some of the races, but particularly the gates and how they've worked throughout the night. How have you seen how the gates have been important and how it's changed over the course of the meeting?
It's changed massively. The draw, ironically, the strongest nation had the best draw, Team Poland. They had the inside gates early on because all the dirt was down low, and then it comes to that last block of races, heats 13 through to 16. You know, the inside gate still got to the first turn, but they had gate 4 twice and gate 3. Just so much momentum down that back straight, and that's where they made all their moves.
That's just the look of the draw as well, but
exactly.
Everything has gone for them, essentially, hasn't it?
It has, and they didn't exactly need any extra help, did they? So it's just another nail in the coffin for the other nations, but it is. But that was the gate positions have played a big part, and that's where you know, the team manager had to earn their money in those gate choices there. I just hope that Roscoe plumped it for the right options so that we can try and achieve a bronze medal.
Well, Steve Worrell was still smiling there. I know the score doesn't reflect, obviously, what they're feeling. They want to stay positive right to the very end, don't they? And they've still got a chance of getting on the rostrum.
Oh, they have, and they have to stay positive. And Stevie Worrell was the one we had the biggest question mark over, and he's the guy that's been the fastest on the night.
I'm sure there'll be certain positives to take from this evening, despite the result as it stands. Let's go back to Poland for the final 4 heats.
The next 4 heats then to decide who are the 2017 Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup champions. Gleb Chuganov for Russia off the inside gate. Stevie Worrell, gate 2 in red for Great Britain. Certainly upped his game and had a good debut World Cup final. Freddie Lindgren off gate 3 in red for Sweden. And Bartosz Marslik off the outside in blue, heat number 17.
Yeah, Marslik on 10 points. He's ridden really well. Freddie Lindgren also has ridden supremely well for the Swedish team. He's on exactly the same, 10 points, so not too much to choose between those two. Marek Cieślak and Morgan Anderson quite clearly nervously looking on. I just sense with the 5-point lead for Poland, they are in the driving seat. Worrell really improved as the night's gone on. Credit to him. Up against the Russians, still battling hard. Who's going to get bronze here this evening? Who's going to get gold? What a great night we've enjoyed. And we've got 4 big heats to come.
Yep, here we go with heat number 17 here in Leszno. Green light is on and the tape tries, and Lindgren has made a beauty. So has Worrell. Stevie Worrell has the early advantage, but watch out here for the man in blue, Marslik. That is unbelievable speed. Bartosz Marslik for Poland. Second place here is Stevie Worrell of Great Britain, and here comes Lindgren charging hard. The Russian has pulled out of the race, Chuganov. That could be a boost for Great Britain. If Worrell can hang on here, they'll be level with Russia for the bronze with 3 races to go. But it's Bartosz Marslik who's on his way to victory here, and if it stays like this, the gap will be 7 over Sweden with 3 heats to go.
Wow, what a ride from Steve Worrell. Has eyes in the back of his head there, blocking the move of Freddie Lindgren. Marslik, dynamite in the first corner, got himself to the front. Here comes Lindgren, there's a lap to go. Steve Worrell has really ridden well in his last few rides. Even though he didn't score last time, he was in a real thrill of a heat. Marslik out in front. The Poles are getting closer.
They are indeed. This is going to be another step towards World Cup glory. 3 points for the Poles. Bartosz Marslik, Stevie Worrell gets the better of Freddie Lindgren. Worrell clearly adapting to this Leszno track now, which is great to see. 37 now for Sweden and 44 for Poland. 7 points, the gap. They can win it in the next one now, the Poles. And Great Britain with 2 points per level on 13 with Russia. So Poland, you would think now heading for top spot, Sweden for second, and Great Britain possibly for the bronze medal, but it's level with Russia. Marslik, Worrell, Lindgren, and Stevie Worrell, he's finished with 6 points tonight.
Absolutely brilliant from him.
Good effort.
He had a tough race last time, really was a world class. We see the standings, 44 to 37 for Sweden. Russia and Great Britain battling hard for the bronze medal. And that performance from Worrell and the engine failure for the Russians only gives Great Britain a chance. Here we see it again. Worrell, you know, he has come good here. He makes the start makes a great start. Smarslick just comes from the heavens. Absolutely fabulous down the back straight. Charges away out in front. He's untouched. Freddie Lindgren just cannot get the better of the Great Britain man. And Steve Worrell has redeemed himself several times over. Had a disastrous start, but then, in truth, has ridden really well with pride for his country.
I know it's all about winning, but let's be realistic about this. A couple of decent second places for Stevie Worrell have been encouraging. I know people will say you shouldn't celebrate any kind of defeat, but let's be realistic about this. If the British boys get a bronze medal, finish third in the world after their second place last year, then it would be a good effort. And of course, no Ty Woffenden this year, so they still are in with a shout of that bronze medal here in Leszno tonight. Heat number 18 is coming up. Craig Cook has had it really tough tonight.
Yeah.
And for Poland here, Maciej Janowski, if he wins and Sweden finish second, the gap will be 8 points and the World Cup will be theirs, because only 2 races will remain after this. So, Jonsson has to beat Janowski to keep their hopes alive. Janowski off the inside, Kudryashov off 2 for Russia, Cook off 3 for Great Britain. They need him now. Jonsson going off the outside in red. Big race, a win for Janowski, and Poland retain the World Cup.
Yeah, he's favourite. Jonsson, in truth, hasn't had great speed in his last 2 outings. Only scored 1 point in the last 2 races, so Janowski has been, well, he's been terrific, hasn't he? So he is the favourite to clinch the World Cup as captain. That would be very fitting. Craig Cook, though, up against the Russians here. Kudryashov, well, he needs to come good. He's changed his bike. He's coming out on the spare one. Let's hope it's very much quicker than the previous one.
Yep, heat number 18, here we go. Is this the moment for Poland? Maciej Janowski has made a beautiful start. Cook has got the better of the Swede, Andreas Jonsson, but not for long. Here comes Andreas Jonsson down the back straight. Maciej Janowski charging hard, and he's read the situation beautifully there. Maciej Janowski has that lead. Second place is Andreas Jonsson. Third here is Kudryashov for Russia, who will lead Great Britain with 2 heats to go. But if it stays like this now, it is going to be Poland who are going to win the World Cup once again.
Andreas Jonsson's riding hard here. He really has stepped up his game. He runs deep. There, look at Jonsson go. Not a lot of racing room. Crikey, he is giving it everything in second place. Janowski having to keep it on. Kudryashov getting the better of Cook. Cook just not having a great night. A night to forget for the captain. Into the last lap. They're less than a lap away from winning their 8th World Cup in modern day history. Janowski out in front.
Here they go. Poland on their way to victory. On home shell in their own backyard. It's magic. Maciej Janowski and Poland are winners of the 2017 Monster Energy FIM Speedway World Cup. And it is Maciej Janowski, the skipper, who leads the way with a win in heat number 18.
What a night for Polish Speedway once again. Fabulous crowd, beautiful conditions, and the Poles have ridden out of their skin. Janowski, it is a fitting moment for him. He got dropped as captain last year. Desperately disappointing for him. He's turned his form around. 12 months later, he comes out and clinches the World Cup for the Polish team. Great character shown by him. They really are such a strong nation at World Cup level. They have rich history, and they have so many riches when it comes to quality and talent on the track. What a night. Sheslak, what a team manager. He just cannot not keep winning gold medals. Fantastic achievement for him. Pushed hard. Got to say that the Russians there picking up that 3rd point, just putting 1 point clear of Great Britain. But the night now belongs to the Polish team. Fantastic turnout, unbelievable, and the atmosphere is just sensational.
Congratulations, Poland. It's expected in many ways.
Yeah.
They were the favourites. They've got the best riders, and they're in their own backyard. And they've sealed the deal with 2 heats in hand here in Leszno tonight. The only other issue to decide now is 3rd place in the World Cup final. Here's the standings with 2 races to go. Poland 47, Sweden 39, Russia 14 and Great Britain 13. And Russia, I should tell you, have got Emil Sayfutinov in the last race if they need him to seal the deal there. Great Britain have gone for Harris in the next one. So Tarasenko is the Russian. So it's down to the last 2 heats to decide.
It is indeed. Got a feel for Morgan Anderson. He played a really good hand tonight, Anderson. Really did. There's not much he couldn't have done here this evening. Much more he could have done in truth. Got the joker, nailed the joker, Lindback. Just the Polish team just a little bit too strong. Jonsson rides terrifically well here. Has had a disappointing time in his last couple of rides, but in truth, he really did put Maciej Janowski under a massive amount of pressure. Disappointment for Team GB and Craig Cook. Just couldn't land a blow, and Cook will want to forget tonight. He'll be just keeping his fingers crossed that Harris can come out and pick up a brilliant ride and try and pick up a medal. But for Janowski and the Poles, it's their night. Fully deserved.
Yes, tough night for Craig Cook. I hope it doesn't dent his confidence that much ahead of Cardiff in a couple of weeks, because he will be hurting. He's a winner, Craig Cook, but he will be hurting tonight after this.
Yeah.
And we can only wish him well and hope that he can bounce back for Cardiff in a couple of weeks' time at the Principality Stadium. Heat number 19 coming up. And this place is absolutely rocking. Oh.
It's going to be some party tonight, that's for sure.
How the heck are we going to get out of here, Kel?
Yeah.
Antonio Lindback off the inside in red. Patrick Dudek, gate 2 in blue. Vadim Tarasenko for Russia off gate 3 in yellow. And Chris Harris, who's ridden really hard tonight for Great Britain. He's off the outside in white, and they need him here.
They do indeed. Just the 1 point between Russia and Great Britain. Great Britain desperate to try and pick up a medal. Harris has really done his country proud. He's ridden so hard, but last time out failed to score. Tarasenko, the Russian, on the gate number 3. He's the danger man for Harris.
Yep, he is indeed. And it's a good start here from Lindback on the inside. Tarasenko's working hard on the inside as well. Second place here for Poland is Patrick Dudek. Tarasenko is third. Harris really needs to do something special. Here he's come through!
Whoa!
Chris Harris, and now he's got to the fence, and Tarasenko has come through as well. Dudek has gone to the back there in heat number 19. That matters not. And Dudek now will take up the challenge, I'm sure, to try and get the better of Harris, who's charging hard to try and get the better of Tarasenko. And Dudek's come up the inside.
Oh, brilliant stuff, Tarasenko there. Tell you what, Dudek will do the Russians a favour here if he gets the better of Harris. Oh, my goodness gracious me. No racing room at all down the back straight. Lindback riding brilliantly out in front. He's gone. The Tarasenko hanging on for second place. Dudek up the inside of Harris. Harrison once again. Oh, my goodness gracious me.
I can't believe this.
Wow.
The lead here is with Antonio Lindback. They're going to get the silver medal. And Harris goes close on Tarasenko. That was tough, hard speedway.
Was it ever?
Ruthless speedway. Harris in the mix. Dudek, well, he knew the gold medal was safe.
But he's known he was in a race there. Not very often does he get out battled like that. A rider in that form. Chris Harris, he took some chances there. Put it on the line, just picked up the solitary point. And Antonio Lindback, what can you say about him? He's scored 20 points tonight. He's unbeaten in his last 4 outings. He's only dropped 1 point all night. Antonio Lindback, outstanding for the Swedes.
Lindback, Tarasenko, Harris, Dudek. That second place for Russia hurts Great Britain now.
Yeah.
With 1 race to go, Russia have Saifutin off their best rider. Britain have nominated Lambert, who hasn't scored. It could be costly for Great Britain now, because Harris rode his socks off.
Oh, mate, he was involved in a thriller there. The battle between Dudek and Harris at times was just breathtaking. Got to say that Antonio Lindback has been the star performer. He's scored 20 points for his country, and he's only been beaten once. Super ride from him. The action behind is extraordinary stuff once again. Harris there right in it, lifting Dudek at the back. Tarasenko there, hanging on to second place. It really was, throughout the 4 laps, Patrick Dudek probably just could not believe how much pressure he was coming under. Harris throwing the bike at him there, just literally blocking the move from Patrick Dudek. But Tarasenko, give him a lot of credit here, under immense pressure, picks up a vital second place. Look at that there. There's no racing room, but Harris totally committed. Let's watch this again. I can't tell you how brave that is. That is such a fantastic effort from Chris Harris to get the 3rd place in front of a half-sensible rider like Dudek.
Half sensible. Dudek just left him a little bit of room there as well. A bit of racing respect there, Kelv.
Yeah, but they were the champions.
Yes. You're saying he might not have done if there was a gold medal on the line?
I think so.
Right, heat number 20. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves watching the action with us here tonight. It's been a memorable World Cup campaign. The favourites have pulled through to win. Poland on the home trailer, we congratulate them for that. World Championship Individual Speedway is back in a fortnight's time at Cardiff, 22nd of July, at the Principality Stadium. Heat 20, Robert Lambert off the inside for Great Britain, Linus Sundström for Sweden off 2, Piotr Pawlicki off 3 for Poland, and Emil Sayfutdinov looking to seal the bronze medal for Russia off the outside gate. The final race of the World Cup, a week-long tournament, and what a week it's been as well. And that's a good start from Linus Sundström. Robert Lambert is there right now. Watch out for Sayfutdinov around the outside. Oh, Sayfutdinov's had to get off the bike. Here comes Pawlicki.
What a move, Robert Lambert. Now
Lambert's back in there.
No,
Goodness me.
Not for long. Oh, what a lap of speedway that is. Sayfutdinov back in. Robert Lambert coming back for more. Here comes Sayfutdinov now. He's getting back into it. What a fabulous speedway race is this. Sayfutdinov. Oh my goodness. How on earth do they avoid each other? Sayfutdinov means business in 3rd place.
Yes, the lead here is with the Pole, Pawlicki, and Sayfutdinov has just passed Lambert. Russia are going to just get the bronze medal at the death here. Robert Lambert riding his socks off, and Sundström, the Swede, is at the back. The last lap here approaching. It's Pawlicki with the advantage and some, but Emil Sayfutdinov is going to get 2nd place. 3rd, Robert Lambert, and it is a super speedway race. Wow. Pawlicki wins it and finishes in style for Poland, and Team Russia celebrate because they've just pulled off the bronze medal at the expense of Robert Lambert and Team Great Britain. So well done to Russia, but let's say well done to young Robert Lambert in the thick of the action there as well. That was a super ride from young Robert Lambert.
Indeed it was, Nigel. He had to work really hard. Sayfutdinov finally getting the better of him. A fitting way to finish tonight's meeting. Pawlicki coming through. They'd already won the championship, but he'll be delighted to pick up the win. Sayfutdinov riding so hard, and all credit to the Russians. They were a rider down. They lost the rider here last night through to a violation of the doping code, but they have come through and they've picked up a medal, so that is a huge effort from them. But the world champions, it's the Polish team. This place is just going mad. Unbelievable scenes around us. It really is. Pawlicki, of course, is a local hero. He comes from this part of the world, and he'll be delighted to finish with a win. What a night.
And Poland hit the 50-point mark to win the World Cup tonight. 8 points ahead of Sweden. And Russia, well, they get the 18 points as opposed to Great Britain's 15 for the bronze medal as well. That is the result here this evening. I do hope Great Britain don't feel too downhearted. They knew it was going to be tough, but Robert Lambert in his final ride has done himself proud. I do hope the British boys aren't too downhearted, Kel.
I just think on reflection they were just too nervous to begin with, because now the pressure's off, really. Yeah, they've come good. Robert Lambert riding really nicely here. Look at this stuff from Pawlicki. Oh, crikey, he's pulling lines that just don't exist. Look at this, chopping back to the inside here. Wow, what a move that is. Got to say that Sayfutdinov is out of it here, but he comes on strong, and Robert Lambert makes Emil Sayfutdinov work really hard, but the Russian coming through, and Andrei Savin and the Russians, I've got to say, I'm a Brit, and I would love to see a Brit with a medal, but the Russians really have worked very hard for the bronze medal with the way they rode last night and again tonight. But Pawlicki and the Poles have been absolutely outstanding, and the gold is theirs.
Yep, so this is the result that I brought you a few moments ago, confirmed. Poland 50, Sweden 42, Russia 18, and Great Britain on 15 points. That is your result from the Monster Energy